And we're back to IGN's E3 live show, streaming right at you from e3.ign.com. Next up, we have the sequel to a crazy, fun, downloadable game called Splosion Man. Well, it's time that Rascal found a more feminine touch, so say hello to Miss Splosion Man.
I'm here with Twisted Pixel and a representative from Microsoft to play Miss Splosion Man. Here we see the new feature, the Overworld, to kind of deal with there's problems with the difficulty spikes in the original one and people would get stuck. So how does the Overworld kind of deal with that?
Yeah, so the Overworld map is just kind of cool to have to begin with, just how, you can go to different levels and it's easier to replay and whatever, but we also specifically wanted to put it into Ms. Splosion Man to partially address the difficulty curve that was in the first one, which is tricky because you have a lot of fans, I think, love the game because of how much challenge there was in it. We didn't want to completely nerf the game, so the way to kind of give the challenge but still ease the difficulty curve is to throw the Overworld map in there where you get to choose which levels you want to go to.
Right, because in theory a player could skip a potentially hard
so that
level.
red one that you're looking at right there, level 3-6, is got big skull and crossbones and blinking. That's a harder level. You could bypass it another way, and we also do the Super Mario World style secret exits and stuff like that. So
let's go ahead and load up the level you guys wanted to show. So the game's full of pop culture references. It's one of the things we noticed the last time we saw it. Is that just because you guys are rampant movie watchers? Like you guys just can't help yourself? I mean, the first Splosion Man had it too, but certainly not to the extent of this one.
Yeah, I think basically we watch way too much crap movies and just a lot of stuff that makes us laugh, so we just can't help ourselves when we put it into the games. With the original Splosion Man, Splosion Man is supposed to be crazy, and he mostly mumbles and every now and then gets out a full line of dialogue. Ms. Splosion Man is a different character. She's not as crazy. She's crazy in a different way, where basically she just hears stuff and repeats it like a parrot. So every time you hear her say something, she just saw it somewhere and she's just trying to repeat what she heard.
I mean, one of the things that people always loved about the game, obviously besides how absurdly hard it is, which we're seeing right here, but is just the character itself. Splosion Man, I wanted to say Mr., but Splosion Man,
he's a Mr. now.
He was a very interesting character, and her we see, the way she runs, everything is kind of telling something about her.
Yeah.
How do you guys come up with kind of, the idea of to make these characters kind of these insane animations? Like, she's a ballerina one second, the next moment she's, putting her arms out at her side and acting absurdly crazy.
Yeah, if she stands still long enough, she'll start doing the Macarena. She'll she's doing Pilates, whatever. I don't know, it's just random stuff that we think would be funny. If we see her just bust out into the Macarena all of a sudden. And the main thing is, of all of our games that we make, Maw, Splosion Man, Comic Jumper, and now Gunstringer and Ms. Splosion Man, everything's character-based. The thing that matters most to us is that there's hopefully a memorable character that makes you laugh. Because no one makes games like that anymore, right? There used to be Mario, Sonic, Earthworm Jim, games
where
like that.
Where there was very clearly a mascot.
Yeah, a mascot, exactly. And everyone will remember Earthworm Jim. But I don't know if I see that so much anymore. So we're trying to bring that back a little bit.
How hard are the levels going to get? I mean, you're dealing with the difficulty with the Overworld map.
Right.
And in the old game it had the Way of the Coward where you could opt out of a map, but you had to wear a tutu for the next level. Is there something similar to that in this?
Yeah, so there are certain levels definitely are a lot harder, because I think with the Overworld map we can get away with saying, okay, this level's really hard, you don't have to play it, so that gives us a license to make it maybe extra hard. And then the Way of the Coward was a pretty cool feature, because we just want people to play our games and see. Good job, Stuart.
So good too.
You're on live TV.
I know, live. It's live.
But we want people to see the endings, because we make crazy, weird endings to our games.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was something that kind of caught people off guard with Splosion Man, was that
the live action.
Yeah, and how you guys mix live action. You had the weird song about donuts in there. Is that same sort of character gonna come through in Ms. Splosion Man?
Yeah, so there's different characters, alternatives to the donut scientists, and Chainsaw, our audio guy that made the donut song originally, of course, scored the game here and has a couple little specials that he put in here. Yeah, I mean, we made, instead of Way of the Coward, you were asking before, we have Cheat on the Game, which is a new feature that basically lets you, instead of skip entire levels, you only skip certain checkpoints. So it skips over less of the game, so people get to experience more of the game.
So, I I mean, largely, Splosion Man looks like, you know, a true sequel to Splosion Man, but what are you guys doing differently? Like, is there anything that Splosion Man has, besides the fact that, you know, she speaks very clearly audible lines? I mean,
Sure.
does she play differently than Splosion Man?
So her mechanics are the same. The one button explode, and she maneuvers pretty much exactly the same as the original Splosion Man. There's a crap load of new mechanics, gameplay mechanics that and you know, objects and stuff that we throw at you in the game. Because in the original Splosion Man, if you remember, you're basically stuck in the lab the whole time. You never get out. But in Splosion Man, you get to get outside the lab finally. You go to these exotic locations that have their own kind of quirks and gameplay. So here we're in like the factory world, where there's just a lot of different factory type crap going on. The second world is like a resort island.
Is there still going to be a cooperative play?
Yes, so there's 100 levels in the game, 4-player co-op online, and our beta is actually going on right now. It opened yesterday. I think we're the first or one of the first betas for an Xbox Live Arcade game.
When is Splosion Man coming out soon? It's coming out this summer, right?
Yeah, all we're saying right now is it's summertime.
All right. Well, thank you so much for bringing
Oh,
it
yeah.
by.
Thanks, Anthony.
It looks every bit as silly and ridiculous as the first one.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks a lot for joining us. Back to you, Naomi.
Okay, it's been a long, awesome day of gaming, but all good things must come to an end. Luckily, we're ending it with a bang. Modern freaking Warfare 3. I'll see you there.